guys, welcome back to this episode of Full Coverage.
We want to start this episode off a little different today.
Yeah.
We've lost a very dear friend to us recently.
Mm-hmm. So we lost a close friend. Her name is Sam, here for the tea,
We've
for those who might not have known.
Quite a few times on this podcast, actually.
Like almost every episode.
Because to be honest, like we talked to Sam a lot. And also, if you don't know who Here for the Tea was, she had a page where she very consistently, wanted people to do and be their best, but also had a page where she reported on anything and everything that was happening in the industry, whether it was traditional or digital. She really did such an excellent job of covering it, but along the way became a very close friend of Manny and mine.
We actually became close with Sam years ago. And honestly, I don't want to get into it too much because like I am not going to make it through the episode if I do, because it was so sudden and so abrupt that like we're both still like hella processing the whole situation, and like I don't even know how, honestly I don't even know how to cope. Like I have no words. I can't even catch my words because my brain's going so quickly. But we definitely want to talk about Sam more later down the road when we've processed a little bit more, but we wouldn't feel right doing this episode without saying how much we love Sam and
we
and
just
that we
got
miss
this
her.
news. We're shocked.
Yeah.
We're honestly shocked. We're devastated. There's a lot unanswered, and she was someone we talked to so regularly.
All the time.
So it's all so shocking. But again, we wanted to just say how much we loved her. We do love her, and how much we're thinking about her family and her loved ones that were around her, because I can't imagine the pain and shock and devastation they must be in right now.
Absolutely. So we just wanted to say
we love you, Sam.
We love you, Sam, and we're thinking about you and we're praying for your family.
And we are truly going to miss you
so
seriously
much
for the rest of our lives.
Stop. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
This is going to be a tougher episode because we have some pretty hard-hitting topics. And we just wanted to start with that and just something we couldn't not mention.
We couldn't not.
Gosh, she was such a big part of our life. But we are going to talk about that more later on whenever we have more of a clear mindset on it. But right now, it's not a good time.
It was too quick.
It's too quick.
It was just too quick. And I'm just not at the spot to be able to talk about it yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're moving on to the next topic because I'm not going to be able to make it through the episode if we don't. And for me, like whenever I'm trying to grieve or dealing with grief, because there's no right way of dealing with it. It's just you have to deal. For me, I'm the type that like wants to stay busy. Yeah. And like I need to like not be alone. And I need to stay busy, because if I stop, then I'm gonna spiral. And so I'm trying to avoid the spiral from happening. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna I know Sam would not want me to be dwelling.
Yeah.
And I know that she'd be like, bitch, get the podcast up.
It's true. Also, like I feel like I've been dealing with grief this entire year after losing my mom, which is something I still don't talk about much. Like this is about as much as I can get out.
Absolutely.
And then I'm like, okay, that's all I can tell you, because I can talk about my mom and I can talk about like all of our fun and
like
good
saying
times.
A thing.
Yeah, like the best things I remember without getting so emotional. But if I actually talk about losing her, it's like a complete different story.
But see, and that's like even like we don't even talk about it. We don't bring it up.
Yeah.
It's just because it's hard, like dealing with grief. Like I feel like you never get over it. You just learn to cope better.
You do. You learn to live with it. You learn ways of like living with it. So.
Laura, we can't keep talking about it because I swear I feel myself welling.
Oh my God. I know.
Because it's so like I've never been in a situation where I've lost a close friend.
Yeah.
So abruptly. And so for me, I just like don't know what to do almost. Like I don't know how to like function, because the thing that's hard for me is like I want to like message her.
Yeah.
I want to send her a voice note. You know, I want to like tell her something.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I can't is like where it's really, really throwing me off.
One thing people told me about grief after I lost my mom, because a lot of people, and it was like the first time the internet was not intrusive, but actually gave me advice.
And
it
space.
Didn't feel, they gave me so much space and didn't criticize me. They literally, the internet was like a comfort blanket for the first time in my life, which was shocking. But one thing so many people reached out and taught me is like grieve in your own time and how you need to do it. There's no rule book on grief. There's no right way, wrong way. Sure, there's things you can do to help it, but like grieving is like your own journey.
I agree completely. So we just want to say we love you, Sam, and
We love you.
we appreciate all that you did for us, because there was so many things behind the scenes, and we'll talk about it more later on online when we can get into a little more deep dive. But for now, we love you, and we're thinking of you and your family.
So this week's episode really doesn't lighten up much, because
It doesn't,
It really
actually.
doesn't, because we want to talk about the Travis Scott Astroworld concert. Devastating tragedy.
Yeah.
Many tragedies that happened at that concert. And really, I think the biggest question that's going on the internet right now is, did Travis Scott do enough?
Or did he do it on purpose?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a ton of stuff about like the like satanic stuff, almost like where it's like there's a lot of symbolism and satanic symbolism what's going on, which for me at first I was like, okay, people are reaching. Like for me, like that's what I genuinely thought. I'm like, everyone's reaching. Like, girl, it's like we're taking it to like a 10. Like the internet takes things to 100, you know. But once you start to see a little bit more of the symbolism and like the more things that people have said, it makes
you kind of understand why they're saying this.
Yeah,
like where all this is coming from.
Yes, I understand like where it's coming from, and the coincidences are very strange, and they don't make as much sense. So I'm like, but I figured we would get into that.
We're gonna get in that in just a second, but first, I want to know about your week, Manny.
Yes, my week. My week was good. I launched Outer Dimension.
Oh, what is Outer Dimension?
Outer Dimension is
Tell me.
my face palette. So I launched a face palette with Lunar Beauty, of course. And so we launched a face palette, we launched face brushes, and we launched some new lip products.
Dang.
And it's a full face brightening and bronzing side. So we have 5 brightening shades and 5 bronzing shades. And it's 10 shades total. It's like, honestly, like for me, I worked so hard on this, like to try to figure out a way to incorporate as many skin tones as I could. So I have a literal white and a shade that's almost black to mix in with the other shades to help deepen or lighten as much as you can. Because I've never seen anything like that in a face palette, a contour palette, because I usually see face palettes, contour palettes, 3 to 6 pans. And so coming out with one that was 10 and that created mixing shades, I thought was really, really innovative and really cool.
Right.
And so, I'm really excited about the launch. I'm really, really excited about it.
I think it's a super cool palette.
Thank you. You told me you used it.
Yeah, I used it today, and I've been using it.
Good.
It's a really great palette. It's something that you've never come out with face powder before. So this is your first like face
like bronzing
base product.
Yes, other than blush. Other than my blush palette.
Yeah.
Like other than that, like this is my first take on like dimension in a weird way, like, you know, brightening shades underneath the eyes, bronzing shades for the face, like giving your face dimension, you know, that, and that's why it's called Outer Dimension.
And where can we find this if we were interested in purchasing?
On lunarbeauty.com.
Not lunarbeauty.com.
Full coverage. I was like, I need to laugh where I can in this episode, honestly. Yeah, I need to get the giggles in where I fucking can. Girl, it's a rougher one.
It's a rougher episode.
It's a rougher episode, you know, so I need to get the giggles in where I can. And yeah, so lunarbeauty.com. What about you? What about your week?
Well. Today is Friday, and I'm really happy about today because right now we just launched our first ever blush palette. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. I'm so excited. It's our holiday launch.
I'm so excited for it.
And we've never done blush before. This is our first.
This is your first dive in. We have complexion products that we just launched.
For the first time
ever.
Our
first complexion products of the kind.
We're so excited about it.
I love it.
Yeah, and we're just, it's a beautiful palette, you know?
It's stunning.
Thank you. It's called Blush Aesthetic.
Yes. I mean, honestly, and like, it's perfect. Like, it's vibey, it's blush aesthetic. It's exactly like what I would picture for you for a blush palette.
I was like, how can I make myself into a blush palette?
Literally. And there's so many shades.
There's so many shades. There's 8 shades in the palette. It's $28. So
incredible.
A great deal. And you guys can find it on LauraLeeLosAngeles.com. It's available right now. Go grab it before it's gone.
And if you guys are listening, just stay tuned because it will be going live today.
Yeah, it's going live today. It's probably already live right now. Go check it out. I'll link everything. We'll link Manny's palette down below. If you guys are interested, we'll link it. But super exciting stuff for our brands this week.
Like, it's so crazy. Like the fact that we've been able to get to this point of our brands.
Yeah.
Like, who'd ever thought, you know?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this launch. I'm really happy with the way it came out.
I mean, plus your photos turned out so beautiful.
I went a little more lifestyle.
I love them.
Because I typically do like the glamour headshots more so, or closer up to the face. But this time I was like, I want to get a little more playful because I feel like I've changed my content so much to more lifestyle-y.
Yeah.
So I want Los Angeles to read that. Like I want them to see that in it. So I did a little more of a lifestyle-y shoot with it. Mm-hmm. I did some close-ups so you could see the makeup. But
of course, to be able to see what it like looks like on skin.
Exactly. So it's a good one. So I'm excited. We had some successful launches this week.
Mm-hmm. Good for us. Honestly, good for us. It's been like a rough couple weeks. So I'm really, really, really excited that we had some really cool launches and people are enjoying it.
Yeah, they're enjoying it. They love it. And I think we're going to take a break before we jump into this heavy topic.
That's a good idea. Let's go and take a little break.
And today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh.
You guys, HelloFresh is so freaking cool. It's basically recipes delivered to your doorstep. It's pre-portioned out ingredients that you can just make yourself.
It's easy, it's fun, and it's affordable.
And you can skip the grocery trip.
Yes.
Like, you guys, I am not a grocery person. Let me just say this. I'm not a grocery person. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, during the holidays, it can be a little bit stressful. It can be hectic. But I feel like with HelloFresh, it keeps things a little bit simple, recipes, ingredients that kind of cut out the grocery shopping experience, and it kind of limits the meal prep time so you can spend more time on the festive season with friends and family, which is what matters most.
What's also cool about HelloFresh is they don't just do meals. It's a marketplace that features a variety of add-ons for breakfast, desserts, and even seasonal snacks. Ooh. And girl, they got the Pillsbury pumpkin cookie dough.
Okay, that sounds so freaking good.
I know, delicious.
I love cookie dough. We literally will eat cookie dough at Laura's house. Verbatim.
Right, yeah, we're like obsessed.
Like we're not well.
Thank you, HelloFresh. I've used HelloFresh several times and it's just so easy because it comes in a brown bag and you have literally all your ingredients proportioned out so you're able to put meals together so quick. They're really yummy too. And I also like it because it entices me to try new foods, different meals that I haven't cooked before.
Especially as someone who doesn't love to try a lot of new meals. And it's so cool. And I feel like HelloFresh just makes it 10 times easier. I'm not a cooking person. So for me, this is kind of genius to bring it directly to your doorstep.
It makes it so easy. So we have a little deal for you guys.
Absolutely. What you guys can do is go to HelloFresh.com/14fool and use code 14fool for up to 14 free meals and 3 gifts.
Dang, that's a good deal.
You guys, that is America's #1 meal kit. You guys go to HelloFresh.com/14fool and use code 14fool for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts.
Yes.
We love it. We love you, HelloFresh. We want to say a huge thank you to Current for sponsoring this episode of Full Coverage.
If you guys don't know what Current app is, it's an app and a debit card, and it allows you to track your spending easily as well as create savings goals and faster direct deposit.
Laura, you have to tell me that one big experience happened too, because I remember hearing about this.
Dude, one time I didn't have a lot of money in my bank account and I got a check because I had a car that was totaled. So the check was for $14,000. So I went to my bank to deposit the check and they said, because you don't normally deposit checks this big, we just have to hold it for a few days for it to clear. And I was like, cool, no problem.
Okay,
Instead of them holding the check for a few days, they held my $14,000 against my accounts. And then it was on a Friday. So they closed, and that Saturday and Sunday I had no money because my account was negative $14,000. And obviously I had to go back up there and be like,
hi, I need this money in my account.
Not my account, negative $14,000.
What?
Yeah.
See, with Current, this wouldn't happen, guys. This is not a current situation. Get it? A current situation.
Also, they have benefits like earning points on every swipe, redeemable for cash back rewards when you usually get nothing for debit cards.
What I love too is that it has helpful spending insights and notifications to track where and when you're spending.
They also have easy ways to create savings goals, including ability to round up purchases to save extra charge.
Period. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is for a limited time, we've partnered with Current to give away $1,000. That's right. Current is giving away $250 to 4 listeners of this show. All you have to do is download the Current app and enter our code FOOL during sign up before December 15th for a chance to win.
Remember, that's FOOL during sign up. Download the Current app, sign up in less than 2 minutes, and enter FOOL for a chance to win $250.
You guys, no purchase is necessary to win. Purchase won't increase chances of winning. Void where prohibited. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit current.com/fool for full terms and conditions.
Current is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by and Visa debit card issue. Choice Financial Group, member FDIC, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. and can be used anywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. Faster access to fund is based on comparison of traditional banking policies and deposit of paper checks from employees and government agencies versus the deposit made electronically. Direct deposits and earlier availability of funds is subject to payer support of the feature, timing, and the payer's funding. Overdrive is available only on current premium accounts. Please refer to the Overdrive features, terms and conditions, eligibility requirements apply. And we're back, honey.
Back again.
We are back on full coverage, and we're going to go ahead and jump into our main topic, which is Travis Scott, Astroworld disaster.
You guys, so Astroworld is a festival. You know, it's not just like a concert. Like, it's a festival. It's like out into a freaking field. Like, I don't know where it's. It was in Texas, of course.
It was in Houston.
It's a humongous festival. Like, I think it said they had reported like 50,000 people.
It was put on by Live Nation. They put on the Astroworld. This has been going on for years. This isn't anything new.
Yeah, it's like a normal thing that they do, Astroworld.
And people get really hyped for it. Also, people have been locked up because of COVID in their homes and haven't been able to do much. So whenever something like this starts to come up, people are going to show up.
Yes, they want to go party.
Did.
And the fact, so Travis Scott is the main.
There's a lot of artists that perform there. Again, like Manny said, it's a festival. So many artists come, but the headliner is Travis Scott's Astroworld.
Yes. So you guys, what happened was, like, this is what actually went down. Was, I mean, if you live under a rock, like if you live under a rock,
I mean, if you haven't been on social media at all,
then you would have not heard about this. But the fact that it was, I think, 300 injured and 8 reported fatality. I don't want to say
8 fatalities.
The D word. It seems so intense.
And that had to do with mosh pitting, trampling. People went into cardiac arrest from being squeezed so tight into these crowds. And there's clearly a lot of controversy, which as there should be, but over this happening at a music festival.
Yeah. It's crazy because there's so many clips that have popped up of, you know, people like getting like, you know, the Heimlich on them and people resuscitating and against like fences and just like passed out on the ground. And that clip of that one woman who like went up talking to the cameraman being like, please stop the show. Like people are passing out. People are passing away.
People were seriously passing away. They were getting injured and the show was going on and there was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of chanting, please stop the show.
Please stop the show was happening.
So I FaceTimed Gabriel Zamora, who went to Astroworld.
Yes.
Because I wanted to know from the ground someone that was there. And he told me, he was like, I was not that close up to the stage. So he was like, it was really, honestly, When I heard it happen,
I'm like, no, thank God you're okay.
I literally went to his Twitter because Gabriel will tweet. And I went to his Twitter and I saw he had tweeted about it. And I was like, thank God.
He's fine. He's alive. Yeah. I was like, honestly freaking out about it.
So I'd FaceTime him. And actually FaceTime me because he wanted to show me a bunch of cats.
Oh, I love it.
And so I was like, Astroworld, tell me everything. You were there. He wasn't there. He said the crowd was extremely aggressive. People were breaking the barricades to break into Astroworld. Yeah. So tons of people went in that didn't get security checked, that didn't have tickets. And he said it was just really aggressive. He did say Travis Scott stopped the concert multiple times.
Oh, multiple times.
And he said that he also there were a lot of people, which this is very common and encouraged at a Travis Scott concert, climbing up things. So there was a video of a girl who climbs up onto the stage by the cameraman, is screaming at the top of her lungs, there's a dead person, people are dying, please stop the show. There's a dead person. And he's shooing her away like, go, get off the stage. And Gabriel had mentioned, you know, he doesn't know why he shoot her off, but he said there were a lot of people climbing to act a fool. So, and then there was a boy that came up behind her as well.
That was like, stop the show. That was
like encouraged, like trying to help her, saying, no, listen to her. She's telling the truth. There's a dead person down here. You have to stop the show. Like, this is crazy. And they were completely denied and like told to get off the stage and like no one cared.
So the crazy thing for me too is like festival culture in general is very intense, right? So there is like all the time you see people fainting or passing out, or you see, you know, ambulances go by, and it's it's like, or people walked out with the stretcher, and it's almost like become this thing where it's almost normal to see people being stretched out of a place because it's like, oh my gosh, they just overheated. And I think that, I mean, this is me playing devil's advocate. I don't think that he thought like, oh, these people are passing away right in this moment. I think he's thinking like, oh, they probably just passed out. It's like they're thirsty, they're dehydrated. Like, let's keep it moving.
Get them out of here.
Get them out of here.
Keep
like,
the show going.
And which is exactly what happened. He literally said, hey, come in and help and take someone out of the show.
But and those are the clips where you actually see him, and I think this is what Gabriel was talking about. You hear him say, stop.
Yep.
So he had stopped the show,
Yep.
but there were people chanting at one point,
Like to stop the whole
show.
Yeah.
Stop. And it kept going.
I know.
It kept going. And then there was a lot of him, like on video footage of him up on his podium where he does his performance, looking down at people passed out. And the show went on. And this is where people want to cancel Travis and, say he's liable for a lot of this. He's being sued right now by a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Because the main artist, they control the show. They stop the show. And right now what's really popular on TikTok is people are pulling mountains of footage of all different artists.
Other artists stopping
their shows
Yep.
over pushing, over shoving, not people being passed out over just too much mosh pitting. But at Travis Scott's concert, Adele, Post Malone, Miley,
tons of people like stopping it. Being like, hey.
I literally have seen like 10 different artists and like Rihanna, which my God, she's a queen.
Of course, as she would.
But there's just so many artists, and it was so much less than a person being passed out drunk through the crowd. But Travis Scott encourages mosh pitting behavior. He's literally
been arrested for it.
Yes.
Like in the past, he's been arrested for or charged with inciting riots and for child endangerment and for what was the other one? Tyler is also here for the full fact check.
Come on.
Yes, I am. So in 2017, Scott reportedly encouraged fans to go past security and rush the stage at the Walmart Arkansas Music Pavilion in Rogers, Arkansas. It resulted in 3 misdemeanor charges of inciting a riot and disorderly conduct and endangering the welfare of a minor.
Ty, also fuck? Another fact, wasn't Travis caught up tweeting for people to bomb rush Astroworld to break the barricades?
He posted a tweet whenever they sold out Astroworld. He tweeted and said, "No, we still sneaking the wild ones in."
And this obviously is saying, it's encouraging. And guys, the video footage of the amount.
It was scary.
The amount of people that bomb rushed in. Broke hundreds.
And there's like that random security that's trying to like, and like trying to like kind of like,
just
boom.
get out
like,
of there.
You gotta
You're
run.
Gonna get hurt yourself.
He's also in the past, he's encouraged fans to jump off of balconies.
I saw the video. So
there's a
guys
video
like, it's
of
rough.
him encouraging a fan to jump off a balcony and saying that they'll catch you below.
He's like, why are you scared? Why are you scared? They're going to catch you. So there's a lot of violent behavior that is encouraged. And if you've watched a Travis Scott concert, it's wild.
I mean, the whole thing is literally just like, it's pandemonium. Like pandemonium. And see, this is where I feel like it starts to get into the whole, like, was this, satanic in a way, like almost
so
like
let's
coercing.
Talk about that.
Yes, because
what have you heard about the satanic
I've seen it all over TikTok, and I've seen it on Twitter, on TikTok. It was trending on Twitter.
I have too.
About how there's like just so many different similarities with like kind of like almost like this ritualistic, like demonic behavior, like the fact that the stage is an upside down cross, which is like very satanic.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so the stage is like, it's going out this way and it's a cross.
Oh, that he stands on.
That stands on. Yes. So it's like going down like that, and it's like a cross.
His walkway.
Upside down. Yeah, the walkway. And his shirt, like where it's almost like this, like the shirt's like this like thing where it's like almost like marching through a threshold, saying that's like entering into hell. On like the spiraling kind of screen where it says like see you on the other side. Like all these different weird like the big mouth, the dystopian, like the mouth, like it's like a direct correlation to this like demonic, like mouth eating children kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's just been so many different ones back to back to back to back that a lot of people are like finding these correlations where it's like, is this like satanic? Is this like, is this like a whole different realm than what we even think it is?
Got it. Like, is this way more than just a festival that he's putting on?
Exactly. Is it way more than this? Or is it like literally like he's literally telling people to like bum rush things? Like when you're saying things like that, it it's sad and it's scary, but it almost takes something so big like this to happen for you to really realize like that, dude, like this is so not okay.
It's like, does Travis realize, well, one, I mean, he's a great artist.
Of course.
He really is.
Can't take that from him. Absolutely.
He's a talented,
very talented
great
man.
artist. But it's like, does he realize the power he has over youthful people?
See, that's like again, part of the satanic thing is like people saying that like using his music to control people. Like that's like part of it. To get them to do what he's saying, hey,
and they
go do this.
What
and they do.
He says to do.
And they say, if they say, he says, bum rush this, go do this, run to the stage right now. Like I've seen videos and clips where he's like, come on, you guys come run to the stage right now. And like people getting hurt doing that.
I've seen multiple clips of him encouraging mosh pitting, encouraging bum rushing the stage, regardless of security, safety, and security protocols. Like
going way past them, doesn't give a fuck.
I wonder why he does that. Though it
know.
really makes me ask that question.
Me too.
Is it like a cool thing? Is it a thing where you're like, yes, let's riot together?
Yeah, like let's rock and roll. Like very like.
Is he not like looking
pit.
at a way? Who cares? If someone falls down, skins their knee. Like the show must go on. But
I don't know, because I feel like when you have kids at the show, that's like the difference too. Is that like if you have a show that's literally like 21 plus, and it's like you can't be a child coming in here, you know, like kids are more fragile, like just literally naturally. So the fact that there's children there, like 14-year-olds getting hurt.
A 14-year-old died.
Exactly.
Ty, what's the age range of the people that passed away at this show?
I think 14 was the youngest, 29 was the oldest, but they ranged mainly like 14, 17,
was
21.
The major ages.
Yeah, see, that's like absolutely fucking horrible.
Also, like, I can't imagine having a family member go to a Travis Scott concert and then they don't come back.
I can't
over just because it was too pandemonious. And the footage, I had to turn my TikTok off because here's the difference. Now, me and Ty were looking up. We were like, well, has this ever happened before? And just because we have social media and digital and Travis Scott is honestly at the top of his game, is that why we're making a big deal? And we did find out this has happened multiple times before.
Yeah.
But not recently. Yeah. In a decade, I would say is the last time something like this happened.
So something about like in 89?
Yes. And so it's big news too.
At a game?
Because you like hear about that, but you see it now because everybody has an iPhone.
Physically see it.
I literally saw footage and it gave me goosebumps. I had to turn my phone off because it was so disturbing of someone in the crowd. They were being in the mosh pit. They were being literally trampled and stomped to death, and the phones were recording everywhere. And you just see pandemonium, people screaming bloody murder for help, and you can just hear it in their voice. So like screaming and help. You see someone grab their phone and all you see is his fingers pressing 911 and just screaming. And the freaking concert is happening like nothing is going on.
As if it's not as if someone's not screaming. But the thing is, the music's so loud.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this is going to change festivals forever. I really do. And I hope that they do. So. Because this is like almost like when there's, if you like, it's a known thing. Don't go up against the fences. Don't go up against the railing. You could potentially be trapped in. And I will say, my brother has been to several.
He has.
Travis Scott's.
Your brother's a big
festivals.
Fan.
He's a fan of his, and he's been to Astroworld. And the thing is, when I was talking to him about this, he's been in the exact same situation.
Wow.
He's been in it where it was like if he put his hand up, he couldn't put it back down because there's so many people crowding. And that there was one point where his feet weren't touching the ground.
Oh my God.
And he was swaying with the people. Like that, it was almost like an ocean because it was so packed in that he was swaying with the people. And he said that he didn't know how he didn't freak out. He said he was like under the influence. So he's like, but if because he's claustrophobic. Yeah. So he has like major claustrophobia issues. So he said that if he wasn't, that he would have had a full mental like breakdown. Because he said that everywhere around him is like thousands of people going in that direction, and you can't like leave.
Get out of it.
And so what we also wanted to say too, this is like something I wanted to talk about. Like I saw this thing where like if you were ever to find yourself in that situation, there's like different things to do. Like obviously using your eyes, like you can't like if you see a sinkhole of people happening and they start to form, almost like where they're starting to kind of cluster, avoid. Okay. Obviously you have to move around with that. Okay. Always avoid fences and gates because that will like lock you in. Because with people, if shoving enough happens, they'll move. Yeah. A fence they can't move. They're bolted in, like they're not moving. Also, if you're in a situation like that, putting your two arms in front of your chest
will protect you.
Will protect your chest enough where you can get from getting crushed, and you can breathe a little bit more because you at least have that like little bit of leeway, that little bit of nudge that you can get a little bit of breath. Never bend down. You cannot bend down in situations because as soon as you bend down, you're going down for good. And you need to stay as most upright as humanly possible in those situations. And because you're trying to get air. And so this is like one of those things where you can see the sky and air happening, but you can't breathe.
Yeah, because you're so combusted.
Because you're so compressed.
Like, compressed in there.
So it's really, really important that you're able to get as high as possible using your arms in front of you and kind of like that is what you need to do. And also like obviously eventually, hopefully you can kind of inch out once you're in that situation. But it's just crazy that it's gotten to this point where there was so many deaths. That
is shocking.
It's
the
so,
amount
like,
of deaths that happened means that this went on for a long time and in different areas at the concert. Like that's what that means. And it means that it was ignored multiple times. Like there's no way no one saw any fighting, pushing, trampling. And I mean, come on.
Like, honestly, I think they should have stopped the show completely. That's just my personal opinion.
I know he did stop the I mean, people said he was supposed to go on for an hour 30. He went on for an hour.
Okay, that makes me feel better about it.
There's not data as to why the show was shortened. Yeah. I'm sure it was because of the crowd. Yeah. But they don't have like hard data, like why his time was shortened. And
I thought his apology after that was a little strange. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I just feel like the way it came across, because he obviously is, I mean, I can't even imagine like feeling almost responsible for that situation. But I don't know. I feel like it came across strange.
Well, the people feel that what people are so mad at Travis is because one, the artist controls the show, and and people are like, well, he got the green light to keep going, so all he saw is that it's good to keep going. So it's like bantering back and forth, but people are mostly mad about him. They feel like he didn't do enough. Like you run that show, and you've had so much history of encouraging this behavior that causes stuff like this, to where it's like there's no more really passes.
I will say, like, I didn't see any evidence of him like inciting anything
this time
out there. This time, yes. Yeah. In the past, yes.
I didn't see either.
I didn't see it this time. I think it was just an overwhelming amount of people.
Well, he did encourage a bomb rush of people through the barricades, and that happened, which I'll be honest, in California, I don't know if this happens in other states because I haven't been to a lot of concerts, but I have been to quite a few things in California, and I've seen a lot of bomb rushing. Like, absolutely, it's very common.
Festivals are different than concerts.
Yeah.
Like, the festival thing, it's more like you're just more open, more free, just more intense stuff. Like there's no seating really. Like it's like a
you can get by doing that. And like I went to Oddball Comedy Fest in Orange County one summer, and there was a huge bomb rushing of people, and it was like literally hundreds of people jumping a fence. It literally looked like animals because it was like there were so many people running down this hill and just at once, and like one security guard was trying to. So I've seen bomb rushing. It happens. It's pretty common. It doesn't just happen at Travis Scott concerts. It happens everywhere. It's a thing. Like it's a full thing. And if the festival is big enough, it is pretty much guaranteed people are going to bomb rush. I'm going to be honest, like based off the videos I've seen, I've never seen this many people do it. It went on forever.
People like were literally climbing out of it. Like they were jumping over people. It like freaked me out.
Like, it looked
like a herd of animals.
Like the video wouldn't end. I was like,
freaky.
Yeah, it was like really crazy. And that also leaves, a lot of people, because Gabriel had asked him about security, and he said, it wasn't that strict, but he did have to go through a metal detector. But I mean, he said it really wasn't that strict. But all the people that bomb rush, they're not security checked.
Exactly. Like they could have literally had, Tyler, did you hear this about how there was someone like stabbing people with like fentanyl?
Yeah, I think the police are still investigating that.
That's an actual investigation right now.
Yeah,
got it.
I don't know if they know that it was fentanyl. I think that was just like maybe someone's suggestion of what they could have been possibly stabbing them with. But
they noticed. How did they notice?
Well, from what I heard,
stabbed?
A security guard got stabbed by a needle.
In his neck?
But they didn't say like
what it was.
So I think this is honestly, all of this is still an active investigation.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to figure out if like who's going to be held liable for what, and like what charges might be brought. So I think we just have to sit and wait.
Do you think Travis Scott will ever be able to perform the same again?
I don't.
To
be quite honest, I just don't think that.
I think Live Nation also needs to be held quite liable for this and their security, because they're the one who puts on Astroworld, and it's kind of like, seems like they're slipping under the rug again, and it's literally all Travis Scott's fault. And I agree. Like I feel like he could have done more, but it's not. But like
it's not only his fault.
There are so many things and people that could have stopped this, and there are so many things that go into this security wise that wasn't done well.
Absolutely. Do you think that, to answer your question, with another question, Do you think that he deserves to be canceled?
We're talking about lost lives at his concert. So
I think that if there's any time for a cancellation, I would say it comes to losing lives.
I think Travis has, and I don't know Travis. I don't know what he's learned, what he hasn't learned. I don't know what he's experiencing right now. I'm sure a world of pain, no matter what way you look at this. But yes, canceled. But what I hope is that this is a huge reality check for him. And I know he has so much power over the youth, but maybe he can reconsider what he's doing with that.
Yeah.
And maybe this will kind of be that moment for him.
I mean, him and Kylie are such a power
duo. They're
duo.
such a power duo. And you know what? Let's talk about Kylie a little bit, because Kylie was trending. She got canceled.
She got dragged into it too.
Drugged through the mud.
She's made statements about it.
Yeah. So at the concert, Kylie was doing, before it came out anyone was injured or anyone had passed.
Yeah.
Before this happened, she was doing snaps at the concert. But it's like, girl, why was the snap you chose to do was the ambulance driving, trying to get through the crowd, which, mind you, people were prohibiting the ambulance from
jumping on the ambulance. Like, honestly, how the fuck are these shows this fucking crazy? Like, I honestly cannot fucking comprehend.
And how are people not held liable for stopping an ambulance to get someone help?
Absolutely.
Like, if you're dancing on the top of the ambulance, you should be held liable.
Jumping up and down on it, like, dude, people literally need that. They need help
immediately.
Like, it just doesn't make, it just seems so inhumane in a way to me. Like, I don't have other words other than the fact that it seems so inhuman to do something like that, to be that kind of person that's going to jump on an ambulance trunk and then be like, ha ha, making a joke out of it when they're literally trying to save someone's life. And so many lives that 300 people were injured.
300 people were treated, not just injured, but actually
treated.
There were more people injured.
Yep.
They were actual treated. And the thing that Kylie got canceled for, she snapped the ambulance to go in through the crowd. But in my head, I'm going, girl, if an ambulance going through a crowd, there's probably an emergency.
Yeah, it might
why
not
do
be
you
the
need
time
to? Why do you need to snap the emergency? Like, look what's happening. Like,
so crazy.
So
like, that's
crazy.
Like, in my head. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh my god, this is so crazy. We need an ambulance here.
Wow. And it's like, now,
are you kidding?
She did not know the gravity of the situation when she posted that. So people are canceling her as if she knew people died. She didn't know that, because the snap went down immediately as soon as any news came out.
Yeah, she usually found out about what it was.
So I don't think, I think it was insensitive, but to snap an ambulance in such a bad situation as it is. But I don't think she got hit harder
because people did pass.
Yes,
and that's why it's
I don't think she should be canceled for the snap. I think it was super insensitive and just a dumb thing to snap, especially when you have that many people following you. It's like, girl, think about what you're snapping before you snap it. Come on.
Agree. I think I think it's good that people called her out for it. Definitely not a cancellation thing, but I do think that it's definitely something like, hey, this is just a really insensitive thing, because you're literally at VIP, you're not in the crowd. If you're making it even the snap made it seem like she's there with the people, and it's you weren't. You're in VIP, and so it's a different experience for other people. So you have to be conscious of that.
But I've seen so many aggressive tweets, and I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, let's reel it back, because it's not Kylie's fault that this happened. This is not.
Let's point it at where the actual fault lies.
Yes, and it's not at Kylie. It's not at Kendall. Kylie. It's not Kim. You guys, just because people love to hate them, you can't loop them in with this and say any of this is their fault. It's just not.
There's honestly so many factors when it comes to the situation, because it's the security, it's the not stopping the show, it's the laxness almost of people being like, hey, something's happening, and the camera guy having no idea what's going on. I don't know if you can hear.
I bet you more than anything in the world,
with the earbuds
if someone said, Travis, multiple people have died, he would have stopped that show.
I think so too.
So it was
really do.
Horrible job in security, and what was going on was done so poorly.
Was there a clip? I might be tripping, or this could be a different time. There was a clip of two people walking up to Travis, and then he kept going.
Oh,
is
this
this true?
Saying yes.
Tyler, is this true?
Yeah, but we don't have any audio of what they were saying.
Because I saw these two men kind of going up to him, and then he kind of just walked away. He didn't converse with them.
He just said kind of enough with all that, and then pushed them away. But you don't know what they're saying to him.
We don't know.
No
Who knows?
idea.
We have no idea. That's totally speculation. A lot of people are speculating that they were talking about that, but we don't know. We can't say that. We don't even know what that was.
But we're going to take a break real quick, and we will be back to
be right back.
discuss more. And today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp.
We are so grateful to BetterHelp for sponsoring us in this portion. Basically, what BetterHelp is a professional counseling done securely online. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling.
Online. I think it's so cool. It's such an easy, accessible way for people to get help. I think it just made it so much easier personally.
I love the idea of it. I really, really do. I think that in general, I think that a lot of people do want to seek out help a lot of the time.
But they don't know how. And it's scary, like going in. So this is like such a comfortable way. It's a good environment to do it because you're in your own environment.
And you got to pick your own environment. I've been in moments and situations where I've been so uncomfortable having to go to a therapist because I was like, I'm just not feeling it today. Like I don't want to do this, but I had to go in because I was like already paying for it. So the fact that you can use BetterHelp and just do it from the comfort of your own home is like a huge win.
They also have licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, grief. I mean, anything really, anger, family conflicts. Like it's so much stuff that they cover. It's unreal.
I love that it's affordable. Not only is it affordable, it's professional, it's convenient. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/full coverage.
You can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. And again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/full coverage.
Thank you so much to Wondery for sponsoring today's episode of Full Coverage.
Ooh, in the 90s, ad for phone sex lines could be seen everywhere, flickering on late night cable channels and printed on the back of magazines. Phone sex operators worked around the clock to fulfill fantasies.
You guys, so it all kind of started with the idea from Mike Bardavis, CEO and founder of American Telnet, who proudly coined himself the telephone pimp.
Ooh.
He was joined by tech genius and co-founder Michael Self, who was known as the Bill Gates of phone sex.
Oh my goodness. Wondery and Topic Studios' new podcast, Operator, is the untold story of a company which dominated the phone sex industry until the money blinded them, and it all came crashing down.
Baby, have you ever had it? Have you ever called the phone operator line?
I have not. I have never, but I remember growing up on cable TV seeing, oh my gosh.
It was like actually kind of insane. So the fact that this is a podcast dedicated to that is honestly really fascinating, and I honestly love that.
I love a good story like this, and I can't wait to listen in and hear more of the juiciness that happened.
I love the juice. You know we love the jugo.
Give us all the tea.
So you guys, what you can do is follow Operator on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen early and ad-free by subscribing to Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts or the Wondery app.
And we're back, fam.
We are back. Full fam.
We are back. So we want to close out this Travis situation with, one, this is a horrible tragedy that happened. It's an investigation. We're sending love to the family.
It's so tragic.
This is devastating. Like literally they lost young loved ones abruptly. So I can't imagine the pain. Now I will say, let's talk about what Travis is going to do for the families. He said he's going to pay for all funeral
all the
costs,
funerals and
refunding.
I do appreciate that. Refunding the entire show.
The entire show gets refunded to everyone who paid for a ticket. It gets refunded.
And I honestly do apprappreciate that. Like,
and
I think that's
his previous
amazing.
his show in Vegas, he was gonna headline at. He dropped
canceled.
out. He canceled. I mean,
I feel like he's doing as much as he possibly can in this situation to mend it. I just think that it's so unfortunate. Like there really is nothing else to say other than the fact that this happened in general.
And you can't
is
go back
horrible,
and
you
change
can't
the
go
past
back.
when you have, especially when you have like lost lives.
You can't it doesn't you're not healing your leg. Like people have passed and they've moved on. Like
you can't replace that.
You can't replace that. That's literally unreplaceable. So I genuinely think that with this there needs to be reform when it comes to festivals and maybe potentially concerts as well. And just I think there needs to be things implemented and things in place for this to never happen, or like maybe even with a different kind of fence that needs to be made, or I don't know, less people there. I don't know what you could do.
It's like nowadays we don't just hear about it, we get to experience it and see it because everybody has a phone and they're able to record what happened, and being able to see everything that happened, they should be able to reform festivals and completely redo the infrastructure of them, because that was a complete and total flop.
I think a big issue too though was the fact that it was what's it called? It was closed off on the sides. And I think that this is why festivals like Coachella are successful and like things like that don't really happen as much.
I looked up and things like this don't happen at Coachella.
Because it's a field though.
It's
like
literally
it's a huge field. And like, let's say if you were to feel confined in some way, you can wiggle your way out because it goes out into being open rather than it being more confined. Because again, there's a fence around like obviously
Coachella. But it's not around the concert stadiums. I have been at Coachella and I have been like, obviously you two, like squished in where I can't even see because I'm not that tall and I've literally been just packed in. But at Coachella, it's different because people are not like jumping up and down on top of your body.
And they're also constantly moving. So there's always constant shows.
You can kind of wiggle your way out.
Yeah, and you can move around.
Because there's different
and people bounce
shows.
around. They want to go see other shows. They want to stay there for too long. But I think that because it is so open, like this is a very big thing where it needs to be like an open field, almost like a shell, where it's like a shell instead of it being like kind of closed off. Because as soon as things start to get closed off is where issues arise. Because if it gets too packed,
and
you're going to be squished.
It's encouraged for it to be so packed out at the front, then it's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, with the fact that it was bomb rushed and there's so many people, is it bomb rushed or bum rushed?
Bomb rushed.
Bomb rushed, right? That's what it is.
Bomb rushed.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. So the fact that they get in there, so they flood it even more. And the fact that there's like a gate around the whole thing because they obviously they want to make money. They want to come in for free.
Yeah.
So it needs to be something where it's more of an open situation. How about double the
security, ma'am?
Absolutely.
Like you clearly, know.
Or emergency buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, none of that would.
They have those at Coachella, don't they? No.
I don't know. But I feel like if there's like a thing where it's like like something could be actually happening.
Yeah.
Or not even like an emergency like out loud, but if you click this button, like a vehicle will come out to you and be like, hey, is like everything okay? Like something along those lines.
Yeah.
Could I
way
really do
more
feel,
security.
And
because
way more
if
security.
there were more security on that ground floor, they would have stopped that show because someone
they
would have seen it.
They would have caught it and they would have seen it.
And look at the bomb rushing. One dude.
It's
like
insane.
that's a joke.
I mean, and I know they weren't prepared for that, obviously.
But they should have been.
Like, come on.
They should have been.
Come on, dude. They should have been prepared for that.
So we just hope that Live Nation's really listening up and that all the vendors and all the parts that go into putting on festival are seeing this and that this never happens again. Because it's such an uncalled for tragedy.
Absolutely.
Like it's ridiculous. It could have been avoided. It's ridiculous that this happened. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, lives are lost that can't be replaced because of these huge mistakes.
Absolutely. So we wish the family and loved ones the absolute best and hope that they can heal
from this tragedy.
We know all too well what that's like.
Yeah.
But moving on to something that's a little bit lighter.
Is it lighter?
I don't even, honestly, you're right.
Is it lighter? But
it is lighter.
It's still like it's a heavier situation.
But it's definitely lighter than things we've talked about. But Tati Beauty closing the doors, man.
She made the official announcement that Tati Beauty is officially closed.
So in case you guys do not know, Tati Westbrook had a beauty line called Tati Beauty, where she came out with
she had 2 launches so far, but the brand was really new. Like it was just getting going. So she came out with this really palette. They sold like over 100,000 of them.
So you know what's funny? Like even like about the palette, like I'm like bitter about it because a friend of mine asked to borrow it for a review. I will not say the friend's name, and I was like, yeah, for sure, just give it back to me. I still haven't gotten it back.
Who was the friend?
I'm not saying the name.
I don't even know who it was. You didn't tell me.
No, I haven't told you. But it was. I just remember. Like I just thought of it right now when Tati was saying she came out. I was like, oh, that sucks. Thank God I had that palette. And I'm like, I don't have the palette. I need the palette. Like I don't know where I'm gonna fucking find it. If I need to find it on Poshmark,
I
like
bet you
however
Tati
I find
will
it.
have a backup somewhere.
Tati, I need a fucking palette.
And she also came out with her Blendiful.
I still use
my
the Blendiful. I use the little heart one when I'm like traveling. So and I put it in my little pocket just to kind of do my touch ups.
It's so good.
It's perfect.
You know what though? Like, okay, so the reason she closed it, she did a little quick video and just kind of broke down. And because she's facing a lot of legalities with Hello Beauty, which is her vitamin company, it is causing conflict. So because of that, she had to close down Tati Beauty. She can't give a lot of specifics because she's still dealing with the legalities.
Is it litigation?
Litigation. Yeah. And like there's a lot she still can't say
of
yet.
Of course. Yet.
But
hopefully she'll be able to kind of say her
more. And you know what I think in the future after all this is over, whatever directions goes, I hope in a good way for Tati, but whatever directions, that doesn't mean she can't ever have a beauty line again. It means it's, Tati Beauty's over, but there could be a lot more to come in the future once all this is over for her.
100%. I think that, we just wish Tati the best.
We do.
Like,
and
we really do.
Every time I hear her talk about this little litigation, I want to scream for her because I see the pain in her eyes.
Like, you can tell. Like,
I can tell
it's so heavy.
Oh, way so heavy. I can tell. I can't imagine the fucking stress and the money it must cost to go through something like this. And I know it's with, as she has said in her video, with someone that was close with her. So like, there's a lot of pain involved.
That makes it so much even
this.
harder. Like the fact that it was like a close friend. Like, well, mind you, with the Beauty situation, it was with a close friend. And so like the cool thing too is that like she's had great experience with the Tati Beauty team. Like she's had great experiences with them, and like she still, like, obviously like the palette was so successful and the blindfold, everything was so amazing. And so it's just hard when you see like so much promise in something and it goes away. It's so abrupt and it's so quick, and it's just like, holy shit, like I can't believe like this is happening, because I didn't expect it. I mean, I'm not surprised because of the litigation going on with the other brand. Like I can't even imagine that stress. But it does suck, because I know she had so much hopes and she had other plans for the brand that she wanted to continue with.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I sit back and watch her knowing, and as we all know, that she's going through this, and everyone's saddened that the brand's closed, but we're all rooting for her. But it's so empowering to see her still like put her best foot forward, put a smile on her face, upload her videos that don't have anything to do with this, and just push forward, power forward while going through this daily. And, it's like really inspiring. It's like, okay, I see her going through all this pain, and I cannot imagine the stress this must be. But, she's still out there grinding, still uploading her videos. And so I have a lot of support for her. She's inspired me. I mean, she's inspired the internet. The internet's not the same without Miss Westbrook in it.
When she came back, I was like, oh my God. Like I was shook, and I was so excited. And, it's not going to be the same without Tati Beauty either. Like it's going to feel different and weird, but I appreciate her grind, and I feel like even from back in the day when she would upload like literally every single fucking day.
Oh my God, loved
5
it.
days a week.
Loved it.
I was like, how is this woman
She's a worker.
doing this? She's a worker. Like, and she puts her best foot forward and works, and she puts the time in.
I think it's really amazing how open she's been with her audience and just everyone on the internet about all that she's gone through with different situations that have been super challenging.
Very,
like she's been
very public, very
open.
intense situations.
Yeah, like her relationship, just everything.
Everything. Even about, honestly, that when she talked about that, I was like,
that's real.
Is fucking real shit.
That's real shit right there.
Like talking about your relationship, the fact that you guys could have broken up.
That's
like
real
fully
shit.
Is like, oh my God. Like that is like, how much more open do you get?
Yeah, it made me really like I always appreciate her, but just hearing her like open up and like say something like that and like let people in that way, it's really powerful. And it also is a message for a lot of people going through a situation where, they're struggling in their relationship. And they're like,
and it goes to also show that like beauty gurus' lives, they're not fucking perfect.
Exactly.
Not even fucking
like you
close.
may see this beautiful, bright, blue-eyed woman.
Absolutely.
But there's so much more going on behind the scenes, and Tati's
one of those people. There's so much fight happening behind, like in her eyes. Like there's so much like going on.
Yeah, it's not just a pretty face. Like there's a woman fighting back there. So Tati, we want to say we love you.
We are rooting for you, and we want the best. Like honestly, like we want the best for fucking everyone. Like come on, like we want people to succeed, and we want the best for them. But Tati, we are looking at you, and we care about you, and we love you. One of these little hearts.
Let me get her.
We're just a little heart, a little full heart. Yes. There we go. No, it's easy. So I'm telling you, like you just do it like this shape, half a heart, and then you just do it like that.
Aaron literally walks around my house doing this symbol 24/7. Yes.
It's the heart's just so much better when you do it like this.
I can't with you.
It's real.
I can't with you.
Stop.
Okay, Manny. Just to close this out, can you just tell me something good that's happening in your world? Like, tell me something good that's happening. Tell me some good news, because, baby, I need to hear. I don't care what it is. I don't care about your boba. I don't care if it's about your dog, your mom, your car. It's really cool. It's like a Batman mobile. But tell me one thing that's like.
You know what I'll say? Like, I will say. So I know don't want to talk about it more. But
don't you do it. Don't you do it.
I will say that I'm so grateful, and I feel like it was a blessing from God that when I heard the news about Sam, I was with my entire family.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And I just don't think I could have been in a more stable situation than that.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like, because I believe God, I know you do too.
Yes.
And I really think that God put me with my family in San Diego and was looking out for me. And that, like, when I heard that news, I was surrounded with people that loved me. And it was a much needed distraction for me.
I want to talk about this later, but do you want to know? Okay, I'm gonna just say.
Yeah.
I was just looking at some of mine and Sam's texts, and not our last conversation, but one of our last conversations, she talks about life being short.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She sure did, and encouraged me to like go for something
and like live
and
your life
told
to the
me
fullest.
that my life is short and that I should just talk about it and go for it. And it's like, wow. Okay, we took it there again.
We took it there again. I wish that people saw the Sam that we saw.
Yeah.
You know, because
I think a lot of people did, but a lot of people didn't.
I think so too. I think that was one of those things where it's like she had the personality where you love her to death or you hate her.
Yeah.
Like I think that was one of those situations
but
where
Sam was the only person that was rooting for us when literally
no one was.
And she caught so much backfire and did not care and stood her ground for us.
The fact that, I mean, I don't even want to talk more about it, but
I know.
that was like one thing that I was thinking about today, and I'm so grateful that I was in like a literal sea of love when I heard the news rather than being alone in my house.
Yeah.
Where like, let's say Nick's at work and it's just me.
I'm glad you're the one that told me. You FaceTime me.
Well,
I think
Sam's sister called me.
Yeah. I think I just stared at you for a few minutes straight.
Oh no, absolutely. We were like, but I was in utter shock.
I haven't gotten abrupt news like that before.
I know. No, I know. And it's honestly, like, you guys, I don't even like FaceTime Laura. Like
this is the thing in our friendship. If there's a FaceTime, shit has hit the fan.
Like something
is bad. Something's going on.
Like
we do not FaceTime each other for no reason.
No, not because we voice note so much that and we see each other so much that's like we don't need to FaceTime too.
There's no need. There's no need.
Weird. But I think so. When I called you, I was like, we need to talk. And I never started a call like that.
Oh,
like,
I looked at
you
him,
literally was like, what's wrong?
I was like freaking out. I was like, Manny, what happened? You were like, it's not good. I was like, Manny, what happened?
But it was hard. Like that call from her sister, like that was really, really tough. And it's just weird, like starting this episode and ending it with Sam. Like I feel like it's almost like
we can't help it. It's like on our minds so much. It's on our mind.
And I'm trying to cope the best I can, but I don't know how to cope.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like I have coping
skills. You learn
skills,
as you go.
But I feel like I think that I need.
I will say one of the things that sucked the worst when my mom passed away, it was in Alabama. I lived in California. So, whenever you're like either at home or with your family, you're in a space where you can be upset, you can have anxiety, you can cry, you can act a fool, you can do what you need to do. Well, like whenever I would have to go back to Alabama, we obviously don't have our own house there. So we were like stay with people in Ty's family. But it was just like a moment where I can't like be belligerent and I really needed to be. But it was really challenging in that way. So it's really special that you were with like your family kind of privately. When that happened.
Yeah, I was really, it was hard though, because I heard the news and then we had Aaron's graduation right after. And I'm like, how am I going to physically get through this right now?
Yeah.
Like how? But because I was surrounded with love and people that were there for me.
I was at home and I just cleared my schedule because I knew anything else I had to do that day would not.
Just not worked.
I can't do it.
Like,
and honestly, my go-to in those situations is to do things because it helps me to function more.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
my thing too.
Like I'm gonna have downtime to be sad, but it just helps me keep going through my day if I have actual things to do. But in that moment, I really just had to like completely stop and absorb.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have anything that's like amazingly happy that you're able to share with me?
Let me think.
I shared that with you, but it was a happy moment for me to be able to realize that was something.
You like counted that blessing and was.
I counted the blessing and I like saw the tiniest sliver of silver light in a horrible situation that I pulled, and I was like, I need this little piece for me, to make it through, and the fact that I was with my family help me get through it.
I love that. Anything exciting happening to me? I'm gonna phone in my husband. Tyler, what happened?
A phone in.
What happened exciting for me this week?
I love when you put Tyler on the spot and he's not prepared for it whatsoever.
Literally, I had to grab the mic. What do you want to know?
I mean, listen,
I need the laughs.
Lessons throughout the week. Like I got good stuff that happens to me 24/7. I'm a lucky girl.
No, absolutely, and we both are.
But a specific, I'll say something that makes me really happy. So, my car was like not just dirty, but like embarrassing to drive dirty. I have a white car, so the dirty on it is like extra dirty.
Can see it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it was like, because what happened is a line on our street busted, and like the main water line on our street busted, meaning they had to tear up the entire road with a bulldozer.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was crazy. Our whole house was flooded. Our neighbor house was flooded. Mud. I'm talking about mud was it was the muddiest situation you've ever seen. So the city actually came to power wash the street and our sidewalk because of how much mud was caked. Like it was like you couldn't even walk in it. You would sink. I'm like, good Lord, where all the mud come from? But anyways, from the earth. But so when he was power washing the city, it was splashing all over my car, which I'm like, he didn't realize like it was going, because he covered our white fence in the mud, but he literally was like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna spray your fence. I was like, no, it's okay, like you're literally sweating out here, it's fine, mud's everywhere, we'll figure it out. But then I looked at my car and I'm like, oh my God,
and it went like over the fence
all over my car, and he didn't know that though, because he couldn't see over the fence. So I was like, dang, my car is nasty. And so me and Aaron had gone to Beverly Hills because we wanted to do some Christmas shopping. But I'm like, oh my God, Aaron, my car is like covered in mud and we're gonna valet it. How embarrassing. Like it looks bad. So we did, and we were leaving, and then a TikToker walks up to me and goes, hey, I really like your car, can you tell me what you do for a living? And films me, and I'm like, oh, you are literally lying. Yeah, so he filmed
the Porsche.
Yeah, the Porsche. So he filmed me. I don't know who it was. You know, I didn't catch that. And I know who it was, but I'm like, you literally said you like my car and it's like covered in mud.
Is that what you said?
No, I didn't even address it. So if that video comes out, I'm going to be like so embarrassed.
What did you say that you did?
I was like, I am a YouTuber. Did I lie?
Not a lie inside.
But I'm like, you know how TikTok is?
Did I lie?
And you know how the comments are going to be on that TikTok posting, like, damn, does that girl wash her car? Literally. I was like, because I had specifically told Aaron, I'm embarrassed to take this to Beverly Hills, and then I get filmed specifically in Beverly Hills specifically about my car. And I'm like, oh man. So yeah,
that's
hopefully. I kind of hope that. I thought it was funny. Yeah, like, it's just funny to me.
I hope that like is shown.
And Ty was so sweet today. He like had a brunch meeting and he took my car so he could take it to get a car wash after the meeting. And I was like, thank you.
And that's the only reason I took it.
And that's our Tyler.
Girl,
wait, what did
you say? I said that's the only reason I took it too.
Yeah,
so I could get a wash for her.
Oh,
I don't like driving it, so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, you don't want to drive the Porsche.
If you see a white Porsche eating around LA,
it's probably Laura, not me.
Honestly,
it's fucking you, dude.
It's me.
It's fucking me. You. Laura be
covered in dirt.
Swerving.
Let me tell you guys, you guys don't want a Porsche. It's a high maintenance car. I hit a curb and it cost $12,000 for worth of damage on a curb.
$12,000
on a curb, and on a curb.
$12,000.
She hasn't heard the end of it from me.
The curbs,
Tyler, absolutely. You should be. I know you'd be freaking.
The
lay
curbs
into
be
her.
popping out on bitches on these streets. The curbs be popping out.
Oh, you not be paying attention.
Bitches. No. It's me. I'm bitches. The curbs get me good. They get me every goddamn
fucking time,
the
dude.
dadgum curb.
The dadgum curb.
Just pops out of nowhere.
Fucking swear.
So I thought I would tell that little blurb that
I loved your blurb. I honestly needed the laugh. I like right now. I'm appreciating the laughs more.
Listen, if you guys see that TikTok, you need to say in the comments,
please
her car's
send it to us
because she's a lazy bitch who doesn't wash her car.
Absolutely, verbatim, in quotes. And we would like to see it. So if you guys see that, please send to us.
Please send it. But yeah. That's the tea on the week.
That's the tea on that. And that's honestly the tea on the episode.
To end on a lighter note. That's the tea on the episode.
Honestly, I needed the light
Thank
note.
you guys
really
so much for watching.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you guys so much. Please rate and comment and subscribe. We appreciate you guys so much, honestly.
And we'll catch you in the next episode.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.